Good morning, guys. Let me discuss Company Law CA Foundation, one practice question. I repeat, Company Law CA Foundation, one practice question. So make sure you watch this lecture properly, in the sense use headphones. And this material is already shared to all the BRIC students. Make sure you take a printout. And after watching this, you always read the question once again and start writing the answer. The answers might not be what do you call, I mean, it's not complete, but the logic, the entire answer logic is already given. Okay, that is the point. So shall we start this? Company law, 19th question in the material that is given to you. 19th question, CA Foundation law, answer writing, part 4, this lecture. So those of you who did not watch previous classes, so make sure you just go and watch, so that you'll get an idea as to how to approach writing the answers for CA Foundation. That is the main thing, right? Mr. Dhruv was appointed as an employee of Sun Moon Timber Private Limited on the condition that if he were to leave his employment, he will not solicit customers of the company. That means he was appointed. Suppose if you leave, you're not supposed to request any of our customers to come to you. After some time, he was fired from the company. He set up his own business under proprietorship and undercut under Sun Moon Timber Private Limited prices. On the legal advice from his legal consultant and to refrain from the provisions of breach of contract, he formed a new company under the name of Seven Stars Timbers Private Limited. So he left and he started a company. But that was also there that he's not supposed to start a company, etc. afterwards. So in this company, his wife and friend of Mr. Dhruv were sole shareholders and directors. They took over Dhruv's business and continued it. Very good. So Sun Moon Timber Private Limited filed a suit against Seven Stars Timbers Private Limited for violation of the contract. So what is the Seven Stars Timbers Private Limited? The company which is formed by Dhruv, and later on he left and other people are running. That means when Dhruv was an employee, there was a condition that if he leaves the job, he's not supposed to solicit the customers of the old company, but he started, etc. Now next what happens, let's see. The Timber Private Limited. So Seven Stars Timbers Private Limited argued that the contract was entered between Dhruv and Sun Moon Timber Private Limited. And as company has separate legal entity, Seven Stars Timbers Private Limited has not violated the terms of agreement. So they say company is different, Mr. Dhruv is different, so he must have started company, but company is attracting, not he is attracting, so therefore it's not. Explain with reasons whether separate legal entity between Mr. Dhruv and so on. So this, the moment you read this kind of a thing, I understand, before you even look at the answer, I understand that this kind of concept is related to lifting of corporate veil. In company law, in the first lesson itself in CA Foundation syllabus, you have got one concept called like characteristics of the company. After characteristics of the company, we have got one very important thing, that company is a separate legal entity. And there's every possibility company is only liable, members are not liable. That means there is a veil between company and members. So members are different, company is different. But if you look at this carefully, that means in the name of company, people might start cheating. There is a possibility. So just because company is different from anybody, they might use company as an agent and do something, right? That is the point. They might use company as an agent and do something. That is the concept here. So basically, this concept is related to lifting of corporate veil. Okay, now let's see the answer. So directly the answer I studied. So first of all, this is one thing. So my sincere advice, though answer is not given properly here. So my sincere advice, first paragraph, 3-4 lines, you explain that company is a separate legal entity. For everything, company is liable. All things, everything, property, suits, everything happen in the name of company. Okay, you can explain. That is no doubt about it. Then afterwards, it was decided in the case. If you remember the case, fine. If you don't remember the case, but you can explain in general. It says, if the company is formed simply mere device to evade legal obligations. That means he started company to give an impression that he's not doing it, but his company is doing it. That means that company was started by him, by Mr. Dhruv, only to attract the customers, because he knew very well company is different and he is different. So he wanted to prove that I am different, company is different. So though, I mean, I'm understood now there are certain circumstances where corporate will be lifted. Members who have started such companies for this kind of purposes definitely will be disregarded. That is the point. So basically, what is the concept here? First, you explain what is separate legal entity, under what circumstances this separate legal entity that is called corporate will be lifted. All right, that is one thing. So in other words, if the company is mere a sham or clock, the separate legal entity can be disregarded. That means you started using a company not for the sake of doing your business, but for the sake of attracting the other customers, which you had already agreed. So he says that I'm not attracting, my company is attracting, or the company is attracting, which is not run by me right now. But that company was actually promoted and he was one of the shareholder also, right? Next one. So on considering this decision, in this case, it is very much clear that 7 stars timber. So I'm telling you, do not conclude the answer unless and until you start using the names given in the question. If the names given in the question are not used while you are presenting the answer, then definitely you're not answering the question. You're only giving a concept. Concept though, you have to give it in the first paragraph. Concept you have to give it in the first paragraph. Second paragraph you explain what happened in the case. Third paragraph you conclude this. Therefore 7 stars timbers limited is just a sham or a clock, and the separate legal entity between Dhruv and that company will be disregarded. Court lifted the corporate veil in this case. So that means separate legal entity is there, company is liable for everything, members are not liable. But when members started using the company just like an agent and tried to cheat somebody or tried to do breach of contract, whichever had been agreed before, saying that I agreed but my company never agreed, etc. In this case, that company will be disregarded. So that company is liable and they broke the contract. All right. That is one thing. So what I'm telling you, when you read the question like this, you put it on the paper first. As I told you, the structure. First paragraph, you explain exactly what is the concept. Second paragraph, you explain exactly what happened in the case, what is actually a dispute. Third paragraph, solution. These things you have to clearly. So start writing. When you don't put it on the paper, trust me, you will not be able to write the answers, because law is not a kind of subject where you just remember, go and write. I'm telling you, some amount of practice you have to do. You practice it and 100% you will be able to get good scores, right? Let's move on to the next one. AK Private Limited has borrowed 36 crore from BK Finance Limited. However, as per memorandum of AK Private Limited, I repeat, AK Private Limited borrowed money from BK Finance Limited. But as per the memorandum of AK Private Limited, the maximum borrowing power of a company is 30 crores only, but they ended up borrowing 36 crores. Examine whether AK Private Limited is liable to pay this debt. So indirectly it says the power is only 30 crores, but they crossed the 30 crores and they borrowed 36 crores. So this is like violation of memorandum. So we know the concept. No, if in case you don't do something what is written in the memorandum, this means it is ultra virus transaction. When I say ultra virus transaction, company is not liable, company is not going to become a debtor, and company will not be liable. So this transaction is not valid, and 100% majority of the shareholders also cannot ratify. That means unanimous ratification by the shareholders is also not acceptable. When somebody crosses memorandum 101%, you cannot imagine even shareholders ratifying it. You can't. So first, briefly in the concept, what do you do? What is memorandum of association? Okay, then briefly explain if anything is done beyond memorandum, it's ultra virus transaction and it is not binding on the company. Third line, you see, it is not binding on the company. That means the transaction which is ultra virus, not according to memorandum of association, is not binding on the company. Understood. So memorandum of association, briefly explain. Memorandum of association talks about scope of the company, business activities of the company, objective of the company, name of the company, powers of the company, principles of the company, fundamentals of the company. And you are not supposed to cross memorandum. If in case by any chance you happen to cross memorandum of association, the transaction is going to become ultra virus, it will become void, and company will not be liable for any such transactions. Spontaneous answers you have to write. This is what is called perfection. Professional courses are designed in such a way you got to be perfect. You just can't prepare like graduation and +1 and +2 and start going for an exam. No, it is not possible. You got to be spontaneous when you're writing answers. For that, you need to have a lot of clarity on concepts. Then, so a lot of writing practice you have to do. I'm telling you, you might be good at communication skills. Trust me, but unless you start putting it on the paper, you will not know whether your answer is going to be complete or not. So be very careful, right? So now, whether AK Private Limited is liable to pay as per the facts given above, so and so beyond the powers of limited, hence contract of so and so is ultra virus and it's not valid. That means company which has borrowed money cannot be treated as a debtor. So that means when any company borrowed money against memorandum, the company will not become debtor, which means there is no creditor-debtor relationship. So this company is not liable to repay. Understood? So what is the remedy available? Remedy available in the sense, look here carefully. Remedy number one, if the lending company could prove, if the lending company could prove that the money that has been borrowed has been utilized for the purpose of clearing the debts of the company. That means if a company has borrowed money, if a company has lent money, this lender company proves that the company which has borrowed money from that company is used for clearing the debts or purchasing property, etc., etc. Then company might be liable. Otherwise, what happens next? Directors are personally liable. That's what the point. Directors are personal. That means any transaction that is done by the company against memorandum, beyond memorandum, it's ultra virus transaction. It's not going to be valid. So company can get an injunction in the sense company is restrained from executing that contract or enforcing that. All right, guys, that is the one thing. Right. Next one, we have one more company, Mike LLC, incorporated in Singapore, having an office in Pune, India. Analyze whether Mike LLC would be called foreign company. So basically, he's asking you what exactly is the definition of foreign company. But what a nice question here. This kind of questions you will find at least 5-6 questions. Trust me, just like that you can get 20 marks. 20 marks to 25 marks scoring in law is easy. You have to use your burra dimag only for the remaining 40 marks. Scoring 70-80 is easy in this paper. BRIC student last year, she scored 97 in law. It is possible. So practice. All right. Now, basically, this I told you very clearly. Section 2 deals with definitions, and I also told you when I was teaching in the class, these definitions may, when you are answering, you make sure you write the section. So there are hardly 10-15 definitions in your syllabus because all the company law definitions you're going to study in CA intermediate first lesson. But right now there are only few definitions are there. So make an effort, because if you really think that CA is hard and you need hard work, then you have to put it. You don't do anything and you expect good results. That is not possible. So, sir, I can't remember sections. Who said you can't remember sections? You are thinking in that way. First study, make an effort, then you will definitely remember. So section 2 clause 42 says what? Foreign company is any company which is registered outside India, having business in India, either by itself or by agent or by e-commerce. The definition clearly says any company which is incorporated outside India, having a business in India, either by itself or by agent or by e-commerce or in any other manner as prescribed. Finish. First explain the definition, then finally come to a conclusion, because it's it's incorporated outside India. Definitely it's a foreign company. That's it. Got my point? Yes, I'm telling you, I told you once again, previous class also, I told you company law, sale of goods and contract act is a game changer for you. I'm telling you, you're going to clear it. So last minute now, few days left. I'm telling you, first of all, do not postpone the exam. No matter what, try to face the exam. We don't know, you never know whether your answer is going to be accepted or not, or is accepted, is not accepted. So attempt the exam first. If you've been preparing, you paid the exam fee, do not postpone for any reason. And when you go to exam, don't mentally decide, I will just make an attempt. No, I'm going to write the exam, I'm going to pass the exam. That is how you have to make an attempt in CA exams, I'm telling you. All right? Yes? Chalo. All the very best. Next video, I will take two more practical questions on partnership and negotiable instrument act. All the very best. Have a nice day.